Hello, everybody, and this is ICT. And I've been thinking, heat smashes, right? They're the cool new mechanic on the block. Love them or hate them, they're here, and probably ruining the game. But they're not all the same. So I decided to go through and test every heat smash and their properties. And I want to go and try to rank them on how good they are. So I put them all on this list and tested 7 or more like 8 different properties of the heat smashes, being 1, break, meaning does it have a floor or a wall break? 2, result. What happens after the move is blocked? For the majority of them, there are really only 3 types, being a quick knockback move, a 15 to 16 frame mid that will leave you plus in their face, sometimes in stance, sometimes out of stance, and then the lows are punishable, right? The third quality is startup, which is pretty self-explanatory, right? How fast is the move? And then the fourth one, advantage slash type. I kind of combine these just as it's more like a simplified category, right? So advantage slash type being frame data on block and whether it's a mid or low. And then number 5 being range, which I measured using not how far it goes, but how far does the first hit go. And the measurement I used was the meter counter at the bottom. Now, this counter is sometimes like hard to tell, as a lot of characters such as like Law jump around and shit and fidget a little bit. And you kind of have to like space them like perfectly in order to get it right where you want it. So take these with a little grain of salt, especially with some of these characters with more like spazzy animations. But I did a lot of trial and error, just kind of sort of trying to hone in. Nope, this is too far. This is too close. I can get this a little farther. So it may not be 100% accurate, but it's fairly accurate, right? And then 6 being damage, and finally, does it low crush? This was kind of like a arbitrary thing, but some of these heat smashes are more designed to jump over lows and whatnot, right? And I have not tested if any of the heat smashes high crush. I do not believe any of them do. I've never encountered such an issue in match with any character, so I'm not sure if they high crush or not. If there are any, maybe Victor's might. As far as I know, there are no high crushing heat smashes. Victor's might, but as far as everyone else goes, I thought it wasn't really worth testing, right? And those are all the qualities, right? I had the chart somewhere. Feel free to pause, feel free to take a look. And this video, do whatever you want with the chart, but this video is mainly going to be me trying to rank and make sense of all the heat smashes and what's good and what's bad about them. So without further ado, I will go through the list and rank these heat smashes. So let's get this started. First things first, we'll have to set some ground rules real quick. The average character, if we take the average of the heat smashes, the majority of them are mid plus heat smashes that do 50 damage with a wall break and have about a 16 frame startup. Since, unlike a normal tier list, there are not nearly as many factors because we're just ranking the heat smashes, this makes this a lot easier, right? So, here's how this is going to go. First of all, we're going to start off with wall break slash floor break, right? So most characters have a wall break for their power crush. However, some of them have floor breaks. Now, while they are the same when you get them, the thing is with it is it's much more advantageous for your character to have a wall break than a floor break, because there are 7 maps in the game that have breakable walls, and only 3 maps that have breakable floors. So there's about twice as many maps with breakable walls than breakable floors. And on top of that, if we go in and tally up all of the breakable walls in the game individually and all the breakable floors in the game individually, there's significantly more walls than floors. So here's how this is going to go. Characters that have wall breaking heat smashes will move. So because it's the norm to have a wall-breaking heat smash, characters that have floor-breaking heat smashes are going to go down a tier, and characters with wall-breaking heat smashes are going to stay where they are. And we're basically going to go through each one of these and be, okay, what's the average? What can we do from there? Characters that are around the average are going to stay. Characters below are going to go down. Characters above will go up. And then we'll have a general idea of how heat smashes will work. And there will be some exceptions because some of them are weird, and I'll go through some of these, right? So let's start with this. And just like that, this is how this is going to function. Unbiased, we're gonna figure this out mathematically. And some of these things, like I said, some of these are designed to be unique, so I will make a few exceptions for some of these, such as Alyssa's has some evasive properties, so it has a couple drawbacks as well, and we'll get into that. The next category is the result. So the majority of these heat smashes just leave you point blank and plus. However, there are these quick knockback ones, as I've said prior, such as Jax, June's, and Zafina's, and then there are low ones as well, which essentially are just hell sweeps, oftentimes with some extra advantage to them, right? I don't think it's fair to rank them in using this same kind of category. I'll rank them separately. However, the knockback one, the lows I will rank separately. However, the knockback ones I feel like can take this criteria. It is not a beneficial thing to have the knockback, yet it is a beneficial thing for them to be as fast as they are. The majority of these are 10 to 12 frames, such as Zafina's is 12 frames, Jax is 10 frames, and June's is 13 frames, which is extremely fast. However, given their knockback, that is sort of the give and take. So we will not take this result, and they will stay here. The lows I will rank separately. So let me get all the characters who have low versions all in one area just to make this easy. I'll put them at the bottom here, and then we'll rank them last, right? So Lee, who else? Paul, and there's one more I'm missing. I know there is. I can't think of it off the top of my head. But yeah, it's Victor. He's already there. Okay. Yeah. So as far as the plus ones go, pretty much any option they have to put them in stance, they take this option, right? Almost every character with a stance, when they use their heat smash, it usually leaves them in that stance. Now there are exceptions, like Leo is a prominent stance character. His does not leave him in stance. Is it more beneficial to be in stance than out of stance? It depends on the character, of course. Some characters, it's clearly intended that this is supposed to be like a negative thing, such as King's, for example, as King's like running stance isn't exactly where he wants to be. However, the point of this heat smash is clearly they want you to hit this, given that it does extra damage. It does like 64 damage.
All right, post note. Oh my god, dude, I can't believe I didn't know this. I can't believe somehow I did not know this, dude. If you just use King's fucking heat smash and then hold back, he'll just end it in a kick and he's plus fucking 12. And it's not even like it has a retarded amount of pushback. He's left like, okay, so I did this with Fengwei as well. Fengwei knocks your ass full screen. So it's like, if you really don't want to go into stance that badly. But dude, King, it's literally just like you're maybe a meter and a half away from him and he's fucking King with giant ass arms. Are you kidding me? That's goofy, dude. I can't believe I didn't know that. I've never had someone just not go into the running stance. Why the fuck would you go into the running stance? Jesus Christ. It's like, I don't know. That stance is not the goo. You got whatever. I'm not even like, what the fuck? Really? I swear to God, I've never seen someone just cancel it. And just you literally just have to hold back while doing heat smash. And he won't go into that running stance. Yet every fucking King I fight goes straight into that fucking running stance. That's insane to me. It just seems to me it's so much more beneficial to be plus fucking 12 in their face without a stance that gives you limited options. That seems more beneficial to me. And the options aren't great. Like I said, it's like two safe mids that don't really give you shit. A minus like 3 high? Or is it plus 3? I don't remember. And then he's got a command throw and a fucking low that leaves him on the ground. And that's more beneficial than just plus 12. Give me a break, dude. I'm so done with people. I'm so done with King mains. I'm so fucking done with people, bro. Like, it's just, I can't, it just baffles me. I never knew this. I never knew. I thought King had to go into that stance, but he fucking doesn't. And the worst, I don't know which is worse. The fact that he doesn't have to go into that stance. And the fact that I didn't know that. And the fact that I've never seen a fucking King just decide, you know what, I'm not going into this stance that's going to give me a shit ton of limited options. The fact that I had no idea that was a thing is just like, oh my god.
And some characters, it's a good thing to be in stance. Some characters, their stance is often, like Steve, more of a high-risk, high-reward kind of situation that you're going for there. So it really depends on the character, and I am not an expert in every single character. I don't know what is good, what is bad, but for the most part, the stances are a good thing for the majority of characters, so I'm going to disregard whether or not it leaves in stance. If your main's on here and it leaves you in stance, whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'll let you decide. The next category is startup. I think this one's cut and dry. Anyone with 16 frame startup will stay where they are. Any character with more than 16 frame startup, we will move down. Any character with less than 16 frame startup, we will move up. So given that the knockback characters, they will stay exactly where they are because while they have very quick startup, they have the knockback as the drawback. So we will put those as almost like a null and void. So let's start from the top. We are not ranking Claudio, Zafina. Alyssa is the first one, and she starts at a 20 frame startup, which is extremely slow. However, the reason she starts this way is because she does this backwards fly thing, which leads to not only a low crush, but as well, sometimes if you're late on it, she can evade even some mids, right? So this is kind of so this is supposed to be kind of used more like in a mid range rather than point blank, and that's sort of the intention of this. Because while it does have a longer startup, it has the evasion to compensate for that. So I'll give an exception for this one. It will stay right where it is. So the next character I want to talk about is, where is he? Raven. We're going to already go through Raven. So while yes, his is a knockback like Zafina, Jack, and June's, the thing with Raven's knockback, the thing with his is 18 frame startup. So it can't be used such as Zafina's or Jack's or June's, where they're very quick and can be used to interrupt in between pressure. Raven's doesn't work like that. It's slower than the average, and the knockback is going to have to bring him down. So we're actually going to drop him 2 tiers, because not only is it slow, but also has a shit ton of knockback. The rationalization, though, is, well, yes, it's a knockback, and yes, it's slow. However, it has a lot of range. In truth, it has 3 meters of range, which is quite a bit. However, a lot of characters have more than that. But we will move him up when we get to the range, and that will be that one's saving grace. So we'll take a second. But for now, Raven is going to have to move down 2 tiers, because not only is it slower than average, but it is a knockback as well, which is non-beneficial. However, with that, he is plus 14 afterwards, and that's not half bad. So if he does have you in the corner, that will be something that is very useful. But we'll get to that in a second. So Reyna's is the next one, which comes out at 21 frames, and this is also one with considerable range, so we'll have to play with that when we get there. But for now, we'll move this one down. Asuka stays exactly where she is at 16 frames. Azucena is 15 frames, so we will move her up, in fact. And then next we have Brian, still at 16 frames. He'll stay where he is. Devil Jin at 18 frames. Do I dare do this? Do I dare do this? You know what? I'm gonna put him down. We're gonna do it for now because, like I said, I want to do this formula and see how fucky this is. Now, I want to see how accurate this is. But we're gonna have to, like I said, just the distance alone is gonna be is I don't even need to explain this. I don't need to explain this heat smash. We all know it. It's fucking infamous by now. The distance alone, I think, makes up for that 2 frames, but we haven't got to distance, so we'll ignore that for now. Dragunov's is a fucking menace and comes out at 15 frames. For some fucking reason, he needs that 1 extra frame. I don't know why. Fengwei's is honestly pretty dog shit. It comes out at 20 frames, and we'll get more into it in a second. Horang's comes out at 17 frames. Where is he? Horang's comes out at 17 frames, dropping him down a tier. And then we have Jin, which comes out at 15 frames, bumping him up. Next is King at 17 frames as well. Do we do it? Yeah, fuck it. No exceptions here. Like I said, this is for the sake of the experiment. I'm trying something. Like I said, you can look through this chart and come up with your own conclusions, but I kind of want to do this my own way, just to see how this works. We're also going to need a lot of rows for some of these. King. Kuma. Kuma's is a knockback as well. That one will not be considered as of now. Next, we have Lars, 18 frames. So that's considerable startup. Gonna have to bump him down. A lot of these slower ones, they do have some good exceptions. Like I said with Alyssa, we're just counting Alyssa now because her exception is really weird, but we'll get into some of these characters going down right now are going to go right back up. Trust me. All right. Next, we have Law. Law's is 14 fucking frames, leaves him plus 11 in stance? Really? Wow. I don't remember that happening, but yeah, that's going to have to boop him up. 14 frames is pretty fucking good. Lee's, nope. Zhao Yu's, 15 frames. That's all I need to see. All right. Leo at 16 frames will stay right where he is. Leroy, 15 frames, leaves him in Hermit. Bump him up. Lily's is a really, really, really weird one, and I want to talk about it. It is the only, hers, while I gave it, hers might be horrible. Hers might be one of the worst in the game. I'm going to confidently say it's probably second worst, right off the top of my head. The thing with Lily's is really weird. It has a 23 frame startup, which is going to have to bump it down pretty harshly. And it is the only heat smash in the game that is not a low or a mid. Her heat smash is a high, 23 frame high. The first 2 hits are high, and you can duck them. And in between the first 2 hits, after that, she has 2 mids that follow that. In between those, you can launch her for it. So you can duck her heat smash and launch her. But we'll get to that in a second. So for now, 23 frame startup. Not only is it slow, but it is reactable as well. I think that's going to have to drop it down another tier. It's a hard reaction. It's a quick reaction, but it is reactable. And given that, she has a time limit on how long she can until, this move goes away, it's either coming or it's not. And it's not too hard to look out for it. And I think at some point people are going to realize this, and her heat smash is not going to often be a viable option, especially in neutral when there's not much else to look out for. And then we've got Nina. Nina stays right where she is at 16 frames. Pandas is at 15 frames. We'll move him up. Shaheen, 16. Steve, 16. Yoshimitsu, 18. So, Yoshimitsu, 18. We'll move him down. Boom. Bada bing. And that is it for the startup. So, already we got people moving. And then, how plus they are. I'm not going to rank them on how plus they are, because I think it's character dependent. While, yes, some characters are more plus than others. Some characters need it, such as, Law is plus, 14? Law is plus 11. However, he's left within stance, and some of these stance moves require, extra frames to use. So I'm not going to try and rank them on how plus they are, as that seems iffy. It's pretty much you don't get to play, right? There's none of these that are less than plus. There's none of these that are less than plus 6 that leave you point blank. So, oh wait, no, Yoshi's is plus 4. That's horrible. Okay, fuck Yoshi. We're moving him down again. It's only plus 4, really. But anyway, at plus like 5 or more, you really don't have any wiggle room. You kind of just have to hold that shit. And so I'm not going to rank them on how plus they are. I don't feel like that's fair. And that takes me too much fucking knowledge to know what all of these stances do, and the frame traps and whatnot. And like I said, I don't play every character. It's up to you to decide how good the stances are. Next, we have distance. This is going to be the good one. Distance, how I'm going to rank the distance is, how are we going to do this? Okay, let me think. The average distance is about 2.5 meters. Any character with about 20 more meters than average, or 20 less meters than average, is going to go down. Any character with, 3 meters is going to go up again, and any character with more than, let's say, 3.5 meters is going to go up another time. That would be ridiculous if a character had more than 3.5 meters, but sadly, that's not the case. So, that's going to be our criteria. And this is for the first initial hit, not the whole thing, right? A lot of these goes a lot farther, but the first initial hit, how far does that first hit go? So, Safina's is 2.6 meters, and then, so I think we'll keep her where she is. It's basically average for the first hit, but then she does this big, spiral shit that goes full screen. However, by the time she does the first hit, you're going to be blocking for the full screen thing, so like I said, it doesn't really lead to any advantage. Alyssa's first initial hit, while she does do the drill and it does go really far, her first initial hit only comes out at 2.8, which is going to bump her up. Second is Raven, which his comes out at 3 meters, so we'll bump him up 2 tiers. And then next is Reyna. Reyna's is a lot. While, yes, she is a 21 frame startup, oh my god, her distance is a whopping 3.6 meters. When I was testing this, when I was trying to test how far this goes, I honestly couldn't believe it. I didn't believe that it had this much fucking range. But as we said, anything that's 3.5 meters or more, we're going to bump up 3 tiers. Boom. Right? And then we have Asuka, 2.7 meters. That's going to bump her up a tier. That's not bad for range. Azucena's is average. She's going to stay where she is. Brian, 2.3 meters. This is awful. This is fucking awful for a heat smash. This is a dick of range, and he has the lowest range out of any mid heat smash in the game. For some fucking reason. He has as much range in his mid heat smash as Victor does. And you might think, well, maybe he has a big long extension, kind of like Yoshimitsu, where it's unavoidable. So even if that first hit doesn't hit, it's not the end of the world. Nope. His next extension is a punch, and that's his last extension. And it's extremely linear. So it's abysmal. And yeah, that's gonna bump him down. That is definitely gonna bump him down. He has less range in his heat smash than Kazuya, and his is a hell sweep. But we'll get to the low characters when we get there. They will be the final attraction. Next, after Brian, is Devil Jin. This move is infamous. We all know it's fucking big. But how big is it exactly? 4.6 meters. Almost instant fucking taneously. There is no way to stop this. 1, 2, 3. You know what? It's got a whole fucking meter on Reyna's. Why not bump it up another? Does that seem unfair? Does that seem too much? Do we have any arguments? Any arguments at all? That I'm going too far by bumping this motherfucker up 4 tiers because he's got a 4.6 unstoppable Heat Smash. No, I really don't think so. 4.6, we're bumping it up 4 fucking tiers. Alright, next we've got Dragonov. Dragonov is 2.8 meters. Very good. We're bumping him up. And then we have Fengwei, which honestly which is more than I thought he would, but he is 3.10. So I think that's worth 2 tiers. And then Harang, 2.6. So average, we'll keep him around where he is. And then Jack, 2.9 for the initial hit. But like I said, same thing with Safina. We'll move him. It's 10 frames, man. That's really fast. We might be able to move him to another tier for it being 10 frames because it's the only 10 frame Heat Smash. And for, 50 damage, he can 10 frame punish you. That's kind of crazy when you think about it. But we'll keep him here for now, and I'll think about the 10 frame thing. But yeah, this is just the initial hit, and then afterwards he has the big rocket that comes in, or gun, or whatever it is. So just like Safina's, you're probably going to be blocking after the first hit, but 2.9 meters, very good. Very fucking good. Jin. So Jin was a weird one. It's technically the first hit hits at 3.10 meters. However, there's a weird range issue that if you get it at around 3.10 meters, the first hit will hit, the second hit will whiff, and then the third hit will hit again. So if you want all of your hits to hit, you have to be at 3 meters. So that's why, like, if you look at my chart, it's 3.10 and then a little like dash under it, and then it says 3 meters. It's really 3 meters, but it's 3.10 because that second hit will whiff, but technically that first hit will hit, but that's still 3 meters. That bumps it up 2 tiers. Once again, look at these two peas in a pod. It's almost like they're the same broken motherfucker, but broken in different ways, still broken. Anyway, 3 meters is fucking astonishing. It really shouldn't go as far as it does, yet it does. And on top of that, he also gets to choose whether he wants to do a shit ton of fucking damage to you or get a wall break. So he's basically got 2 Heat Smashes as well, but we'll get to that in a second, because that's kind of a special thing about him. June, her first initial hit is 3.10, so I think that's going to move her up 2. Not bad. Plus it adds the healing. We can move it up another one because of the healing. We all know the healing. King is next at 3.3 meters, bumping him up 2 tiers. Not half bad. Kuma's is 3.10. Same with Lars. Lars and Kuma are both 3.10. We'll bump them up 2 tiers. Boom, boom. And then from there, we have Law at 2.65. I couldn't get it. Trust me, I tried. I couldn't get it at 2.7. And this is really the closest I could get. So it's not 0.2 meters more. So I think Law is going to stay where he is. Lee is at, wait, we're not doing Lee yet. Zhao Yu is at 2.5 right on the dot, so she will not move either. And then Leo is 2.55 is what I got. And then Leroy as well on 2.55. And then Lily on 3.30. So yes, it is very big, but that's the point of it. It's also a high. We'll still give her points, but like I said, it being reactable to a degree and also deckable with her possibly being launched is pretty fucking bad. Nina, 2.95. I actually couldn't get this one to hit at 3 meters. But should I give it to her? Because technically it's not enough to move her up 2 points. We'll give it to her. It's close enough, man. We'll give it to her. This is where we draw the line, though. At a 2.9, we're not giving it to them. All right. Panda, 2.7. Move him up. Shaheen, 2.6. Stays where he is. Steve, 2.7. Move him up. And then we've got Yoshimitsu at 2.65. Stays where he is. Next, we have damage. The average does about 50 damage. If they do 5 more than the average, we'll move him up. 5 less than the average, we move him down. And for, like I said, King, I think we're going to give him double points, given that he does an exceptional amount of damage that no other character does. So let's start off fair and square with Zafina, 51, Alyssa, 50, Raven, 55. So Raven is enough to bump him up a tier. Where even is he? Right here, that's enough to bump him up a tier. Not half bad. And then we have Reyna's 50 damage, so right on the mark. Asuka as well, right on the mark, 50 damage. So no moving tiers. Azucena, 53. Keep her where she is. Brian, 44 damage. 44 damage. He does the lowest damage out of any mid, or I guess he's... Oh, wait, no. He does the second lowest damage. Tied for second lowest damage out of any mid Power Crusher in the game. What the fuck, Harada? Why the fuck, Harada? 44 damage. Devil Jin, 52. Keep him where he is. Dragonov, 50. Fengwei, 48. It's not great. However, one thing about Fengwei's that is worth considering is it launches them fucking miles away. Miles away. And it will pretty much wall break. If they're lined up with the wall, it will wall break anywhere. Which is not half bad. Which I think is the reason why it does less damage than it normally does. but it's not enough to be a significant difference. Orang is 51, Jack 52. Jin, he has 2 heat smashes, technically 57 or 48. If he goes for the 48 version, which is the kick follow-up, that does lead to a wall break. However, the 57 damage is really what he's got here. That's what he's going to use if he just hits this raw. So, add a little above, we're going to add a fucking more, man. So yeah, 57 damage, really fucking good, because he's made to be better than the rest of the roster on purpose. Jude, 50 damage, King, 64. This, I think, is going to give him I believe we can give him two tiers up, given this. It does a lot of damage. It's not fun to get hit by this move, and it's purposely made this way, and that's why he goes into a stance, which is probably not the best in the game. You're really intended to hit this move. Kuma, 51, Lars, 50, Law, 50, Xiaoyu, 50, Leo, 50. A lot of averages. Leroy, 41, the worst damaging heat smash in the game. Can I make an argument for bumping him down 2 tiers? Probably. We'll keep it here for now. But 41 damage, least in the game. Lily, 55 damage, so I guess we bump her up. Nina, 52. Panda, 44. We're moving him down. And then Shaheen, 50. Steve, 45. That's enough to move him down. Otherwise, he was here. Ooh, that sucks for Steve. And then Yoshimitsu, 50 damage. 51 damage. Finally, we have crush properties. So, does it low crush? Which some of these are kind of intended to do. Alyssa's, yes, and it even kind of crushes some mids. Like I said, it has some back sway, like evasiveness. However, I will not count that to bump her up because that already negated her having a 20 frame startup move. So we will only bump her up 1 tier for this one. And then I have some of these. So some of these are labeled as not, such as Victor's. Victor's is labeled as not, and Leo's as well. Not is not no. So I have no, which means no, it does not low crush, and I have not, which means at some point in the move, it does low crush. At some point in the heat smash, there is a low crush. However, the problem with it is it's already after the first hit, so it's not really taking into effect. So it's not something you should consider, so it's basically a no. We won't count that for or against them. Asuka is a yes, which these will move them up. So is Azucena. So Asuka and where's Azucena? That will both move them up in the heat smash category. And then we have Brian's, which also does. So at least he has that, a low crush, which, like I said, the low crush is not as useful as some of these other things, but hey, it is a factor, and I am considering it. Devil Jin, I have yes, but no. So Devil Jin, it's weird because, like I said, he flies up in the air and he does the Cycle Crusher. However, it has some low crush properties, but it's like 1 frame, and it's kind of hard to get, but technically it does have a low crush property. I will not count this for him because it's got too much startup for the low crush to really be considerable. So we'll keep Devil Jin right where he is. Dragonov, no. Fengwei, no. Harang, no, until we get to Lars, which Lars is a yes. Lars is very good. And then no, until we get to Lily, which Lily's as well has a low crush property. And then that's it. Boom. This is our tier list. How did we do? Fucking awful. I don't like looking at this at all. This is terrible. No. Okay, we're going to make some tweaks real quick. We also need to do the low. Let's do the lows and then sort them out. So the lows are really funny. Claudio, so there's only 5 characters with low power crushes, low heat smashes, being Victor, Claudio, Kazuya, Lee, and Paul. So Claudio and Kazuya's are both at minus 14, with Lee and... So Victor and Lee, both of theirs are minus 15, making them launch punishable by almost the entire cast. And they leave you standing, by the way. So both launch punishable by almost the entire cast. Sorry, Zafina. And then Claudio and Kazuya are minus 14. So only launchable by some characters, like this guy. And then Paul's is kind of a special one, being minus 12. This is really weird. However, to make up for this, Paul's range on it is 1.9 meters. It is the lowest range out of any heat smash in the game. And it's, like I said, it's essentially just a less punishable demo man. It's a non-launch punishable demo man, and it only does 40 damage. So make that what you will. It's basically, if you think they might block this demo man and it's worth going for, that's why he's got the heat smash. Honestly, I think it's not worth to use Paul's heat smash over just, deleting their health bar with a lot of death fists into heat dash, into my health. But, like I said, to each their own. There are some situational uses for it. And like I said, it being minus 12 and a hell sweep is not a half bad thing. But it has very, very low amount of, very, very low amount, very small range. And then, along with this, we have, so along with this, we also have So Victor's and Claudio's are both very similar. How much does Victor's do? Victor's and Claudio's are both very similar. Claudio's does 40 damage, while Victor's does 39, so about the same amount of damage. However, Victor has 2.3 meters, and Claudio is 2.10. So both of them have essentially... so Victor has a 0.2 meter difference than Claudio on the Heat Smash. So, like I said, they're fairly even, very similar. However, like I said, for me as a Brian player, it doesn't make all too much of a difference. But for the rest of the roster, it might make a difference between Claudio and Victor's Heat Smashes, being Claudio's being minus 14 and Victor's being minus 15. Kazuya's, on the other hand, has exceptionally good range for what it is, and I guess that's the point of it. At 18 frame startup, 2.5 meters, which is very good, a lot of range for this, and does 43 damage, so a little bit more than the rest of the low Heat Smashes. And that's kind of the advantage of this move over, that's kind of the advantage of this move is it doesn't have half bad of a low, but it is minus 14. It doesn't have horrible range. And Lee's, I honestly this move is fucking awful. I don't give a fuck if this is, not forming by the algorithm. I really don't care. We're dropping this shit down all the way to the bottom. The funny thing about Lee's Heat Smash is, Lee's Heat Smash is god fucking awful in so many ways, it's not even funny, because it has, basically its main reason that it's decent is that it has 2.55 meters of range. So it has the longest range out of any low Heat Smash, however, only by a sliver over Kazuya's. There's 37 damage, which is the lowest damaging Heat Smash in the game, and on top of that, it is minus 15. So basically what you're telling me is, in Heat, Lee gets a fucking hell sweep. What some characters literally just have built into their kit, Lee has to go into Heat for this. Except, I don't know what you use Lee's Heat on, but certainly not this. There are so many better things to do than this shit. So, yeah, I think Lee has the worst... I think Lee gets the crown for the worst Heat Smash in the game. Anyway, Devil Jin. I'm sad to say that Devil Jin is not right at the top. However, Jin is. So, I mean, it is what it is. Devil Jin, you could make a case to move his up to be the best, but honestly, I like this. What this looks like is good to me. Let's order this a little bit, make this a bit neater. I really don't want to move any of these other low ones. I think I'll keep Kazuya up here. It's better than these ones, but like I said, I don't really want to move these. I think they're fine as they are. It's more of a, but I think a low Heat Smash in general is worse than a mid Heat Smash. But it is what it is. Leroy, I think, dude, I don't like Leroy being up here. I'm going to be honest. I think we're going to move him down. Him having the lowest damaging Power Crush in the game has to count for something. And like I said, we only don't give him that rank down by 1 fucking damage. We'll move it down. I don't know why they hate this character so goddamn much. Oh, wait, because he was broken during Tekken 7. That's why. However, it's at this point, it's just bullying. This is just mean at this point. Like I said, he literally, his Heat Smash isn't anything exceptionally good. He's +6 in Hermit, and it has, an average range on it with, 1 extra frame of startup. Or 1 extra frame of 1 frame faster than the average. That's, like I said, and because of that, they have to give him super anal cancer. And like I said, I don't know. It's just insane hate. It's bullying at this point. Steve will keep right here because his puts him into his stance, and there's no real way out of it. You kind of have to use it. And his stance is kind of a high-risk, high-reward situation. He's got a launch punishable mid that launches you. He's got basically a hell sweep. It's an unblockable high. And then the last thing is he's got the body, which is a mid that homes, and it's like a little bit minus, but it's safe, right? It's safe, but he's minus afterwards. And the thing is it is a heat engager. However, if he's used Heat Smash, he's already out of heat. So, like I said, it's basically just a safe option if he doesn't know if he wants to do lower mid. So yeah, we're gonna keep Steve here. Steve's, I think, is not a very good Heat Smash, and I'm fine with this. Shaheen, character to character, his Heat Smash is a Heat Smash that a character would have. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's character. What did I even put him down here for? Oh, he had a floor break. That's why I moved him down. Okay, that makes sense. He has a floor break. And then Harangue's is just... Say, why the startup? Why the startup? Yeah. Why a 17 frame startup? It leaves him in Left Flamingo, which is going to be like his, I guess, his main... Left Flamingo is kind of like his main... what was I saying? I don't fucking remember. That's the one where he gets his hell sweep, right? If I'm not mistaken. It's been so long since I played online. I don't fucking remember. I don't give a shit. Most people, they don't even know what stances he's going into. Just look for a random low parry and you'll get it eventually. To be honest, you don't need to know the matchup. I don't even think other harangues know the matchup. So yeah, just, I wouldn't worry about it. He's in some fucking flamingo to do some bullshit. And it's not like it's hard for him to change stances. But yeah, he's plus 11, which is a fucking lot. 55 damage, pretty average range, but I think the startup is not warranted. And that's, I think, the startup's the reason he's moved down a tier. Panda's is pretty shitty, but I think his is still where it is, or I think it's technically a she, is where it is because of the... Yeah, it's been moved down a lot, but also moved up a lot as well. Given the floor break, 15 frame startup, and also 2.7 meters of range. So, good range, but whatever. Yeah. Who else? Should I move some of these around? I like Paul's. I think it's honestly a matter of preference, but I like Paul's better than these guys. The minus 12 isn't bad. I think Victor's is a little bit better than Claudio's. We'll order them, but I don't think they're enough to be in a different tier. Leo. Let me think about Leo. What was Leo's again? Yeah, it's got very good range. If you let the whole thing go, it's not half bad. Like I said, it has average range here, but throughout the whole thing, and that's one thing about Yoshimitsu's as well. You can't really... I'm going to move Yoshimitsu's up just one tier because I feel like his doesn't belong here. Yeah, sure, it doesn't have a lot of plus frames. Is exceptionally low plus frames, but given he's not in a stance either, and while it is 18 frame startup and the average is the range is technically average, it's technically average. The issue with it is the thing is if you let the whole thing rock, which most Yoshimitsu's do, it has a lot of range. It goes the whole fucking screen, and you can't really step it because he just swings his sword wildly. I don't know if there's a way to step it. I don't know how to get around it. I haven't challenged the Yoshimitsu on it. Maybe I should go in and lab, test that. That's for up to you to decide. Maybe I'll fucking figure something out about Yoshimitsu's, but I haven't really felt the need to test it all too much. Like I said, but I just kind of block it and just be like, whatever. But yeah, I'll keep it here because his extensions, I don't think there's a lot you can do about it, but I don't want to go out and say for certain, oh, there's nothing you can do about it, you just gotta block that shit, and then be wrong, and then be, just like look like a fucking clown. Or at least more of a clown than I already do. So, like I said, we'll move Yoshi's up a tier, just because of that. Just because of, like, the in-game knowledge. And then, yeah, Leo kind of the same thing, but I really, like I said, Leo's feels kind of average. I don't want to move it. Zafina, blah, blah, blah. Lily, dude, I don't like seeing... Lily's is so weird, but considering that it is possible to react to it, I just don't... Like I said, I think if you can react to this... Yeah, if you can't react to her heat smash, I think it's up here. But if you have keen eyes and can react to the heat smash, it's down here. It's the worst fucking heat smash in the game, but we'll keep it here for now. Or, I guess it's not for now. This is the last revision. But like I said, at some point, if people are reacting to this heat smash, if they're looking for this heat smash, it's the worst heat smash in the game. Without parallel, without exception. Let me delete some of these, man. I made more than I thought I did. Yeah, and then Lars is like, whatever. It's got good range. It's fucking big. Leaves him in the stance so he can slap your nuts and be plus again. And then, who else? Asuka's, yeah. Like I said, just another better version of Brian's, let's be honest. Yeah. So I think, so I don't hate these Jacks. I think I'll move it up a tier based on just the sole fact that it's 10 frames, which is kind of crazy the more I think about it. I honestly don't believe it. I actually, in fact, when I was about to make this video, when I started making this video, I saw that Jax was 10 frames. I'm like, that must have been a typo. There must be some mistake there. And I literally booted up the game to see if Jax was 10 frames. Because I felt like that was a fucking mistake that I put that down. And then, yeah. Yeah, I like this. Fuck it. Send it. Ship it. I'm good. Delete row. Delete row. Delete row. There we go. This is S+, and this is SS plus Jin tier. Anyway, here, honestly, not too bad. Like I said, we had to make a couple exceptions here and there and be like, oh, this is that, this is this. Move a couple things here around a little bit. But for the most part, we followed my algorithm, and I feel like this is pretty accurate. This isn't half bad. This isn't half bad. Kuma is, I don't know how the fuck Kuma got up here, but apparently due to the algorithm, Kuma is here, so we'll keep Kuma here. But some of these characters, like I said, you don't want to heat smash for some of these characters. There's better things to use your heat for. Like Fengwei, his heat smash is decent, sure, but the main thing with Fengwei is, honestly, you want to use it for that fucking stomp, dude. That stomp where he goes, yeah, and then he's like fucking just plus 1,000,000, and you're just like feet turn into spaghetti noodles, and he just like gives you mega cancer, and you can do that shit like 3 times with a bunch of chip. That shit is what you want to use your heat on. Don't fucking bother with your awful heat smash. That's just stupid. And then like some of these other characters, it's not worth to do the heat smash. Like I said, let me think. Yeah, some of these characters, it's not really worth to use your heat smash, but, I mean, you have there, like, Kuma, most Kumas don't even really use the heat smash. I don't think it's that worth it. It's better just to, like, I don't know, spam electric. Honestly, that's a bad idea. Don't do that. But like I said, a lot of Kumas don't use their heat smash as much. And some characters, it's really not worth it. Like I said, Lee, I don't think it's worth it. Like I said, 30. It's basically just a hell sweep. He has to go into heat just so he can get a fucking hell sweep. It's kind of sad, but yeah, there we go. Boom, heat smash tier list, motherfucker. Using the algorithm works 90% accurate. Not bad, not bad. The only thing this is not taking into account, of course, which you have to take into your own personal matters, is the stance. So the majority of these characters, they're left plus in stance. If it says plus IS, that means in stance. Some of them specify on my chart, such as, like I said, like Jin's, it specifies CD. It's left plus ISCD for crouch dash. So he goes into wave dash. So just to let you know. And then some of these, like BT stands for back turn. And then I have L after left flamingo. Not every character I specified, even though I probably should have because I don't care that much. But like I said, they're left plus in stance plus IS. So like I said, it's up for you to decide if the stance is good or not. I don't play every single character. I don't know all the goo. I don't know all the mix with every single fucking character. So I can't tell you if the stance is worth being in or not. But yeah, that's about it. I think this is fairly accurate. This is fairly accurate to how it feels to play against a lot of these. Honestly, no. If it's how it feels, Devilgen's going to be like a fucking rocket just on a tier of his own. But technically, due to the algorithm, Jin's is better. You can take it with a grain of salt. You can say that because I already gave him an extra boost because he has an extra meter over the second best range in the game. So like I said, you can if you really want to fantasize that Devil Jin is the best heat smash in the game because you're so in love with him, then go right ahead. But yeah, that's it. So I don't know. Anyway, time to finish this off by showing. Yeah, if you liked the video, like it. If you didn't like it, dislike it. Leave a mean comment. I'm not gonna read it. And then if you, I don't know, subscribe. Whether you liked or disliked the video, just do it. I got like 4 fucking subscribers. Do it.